New York City, it's one of those places that if you've been there once, it's hard to forget. And for me, I still remember the first time I visited New York many, many years ago. There are several memories, but there's one particular thing that I want to talk about today, and that's something which might have a lesson for all of us. Hello and welcome to another edition of Chai with Pai, our series of videos where I share simple lessons and stories which can help each of us become just a little bit better. I remember being super impressed by everything that I saw in New York as a young kid, and I still remember the discipline. It was amazing to see the streets, the traffic, and the pedestrian crossings. If there was anybody walking on the street, cars would slow down and let that person cross. Not just that, I saw something else which I thought was very cool. At many of these pedestrian crossings were these poles which had a box like a set of buttons. And as I stood there wondering what that was, I saw another pedestrian press one of those buttons. And the minute she pressed it, a ticker seemed to go off, and then suddenly the traffic stopped and we could cross the street. How cool is that? I thought to myself. And of course, very quickly, I was myself doing the same thing. Go to the pedestrian crossing and then see that button, reach for it, press the button so that the light would turn green quicker and we'd be able to cross. I did that a few times and then I saw other people doing it. And then many, many years later, I read something which made me think again. Turns out that several decades ago, the New York transport authorities decided they had to do something to streamline the traffic. So what they did was they automated the traffic light system, the entire signaling system in the roads of New York City. And what that meant was that the pedestrian crossing with those little buttons had become redundant. So they had to then remove those, but that would cost a lot of money. So they decided, let's just leave it there. It doesn't work, but let's leave it there. So for years now, pedestrians happily press those buttons and think they're controlling the traffic, when in fact those buttons don't work. I guess there's a name for it, the placebo effect, where you feel that there is something that you're doing which works well for you. And I think that pedestrian crossing button is in our lives, at work, all around us. We love this feeling of being in control. We love to push those buttons which we think are making this world go around. They don't mean anything at all. Right? It's a good idea to remember that things will be the way they are, and there are many, many situations where we feel the need for that button. Sometimes it's just desperation. I spoke to another New Yorker who said that she knows that it doesn't work, but she believes that maybe it started to work again. So when she's in a real hurry, she'll press that button hoping that it works. As I was coming home the other day, I was trying to think of what are these push buttons like that New York traffic light in our lives? And I was wondering, do we really see them all around us? Anyways, I got into the elevator to go home and I pressed the button to bring me up to the 19th floor. And then when the doors refused to shut, of course, I pressed that button which says close door. And then I wondered, does this damn thing really work? That's all in this week's edition of Chai with Pai. Until next time, enjoy your chai and tell me, which is the button that you're pressing which clearly doesn't work?